Hi everyone, my name is Andrea Checa. I am 29 years old. I was born and raised in Peru. So if you're wondering where's the accent from, and I just want to share my story. That's it. This video is not professional, it's not professionally edited. It's just me sitting in my kitchen thinking of ways that I can possibly touch someone's life, helping, empowering, and even if it's just bringing a little bit of comfort to women that experience or are still experiencing what I went through and what my mom and I went through. And even if your story is different, just to know that I am here, that I share your pain, and that maybe by listening to my story, it will help you to make it another day. So, just real quick, my mom and I moved to this country 11 years ago with my dad. And we were both victims of domestic violence, like I previously mentioned. She encountered domestic violence for 20 years. I remember from a very young age, probably 8 or 9, witnessing my dad beating my mom up. He will often do it in front of me as well. And he wasn't abusive with me until we moved here to the States. And that's when it started with me. Just to clarify, a lot of people think that domestic violence involves only physical injuries, bruises, hair pulling, slaps, kicks, etc. And that's far away from the truth. Domestic violence is very complex. Domestic violence involves physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional, psychological, economic abuse. And I will say that pretty much we were victims of almost all of them. Um, it was very hard growing up with my dad. We come from a society and a culture where a man is very macho and whatever it says it goes. So it was his way or the highway. We were often feel like we were not worth it. He made us feel like as we were not worth it. We had no voice. We had no opinions. We were treated very poorly. Um, and it was very hard growing up. I remember being 13, 14 years old and contemplating suicide because I just couldn't bear the fact the fact that I have to continue live with my dad. Um, I will say that, a long story short, I was a very broken person growing up in my 20s. I was always on the defensive side. I promised myself that I was never ever gonna let anyone disrespect me, humiliate me like that. That only brought horrible consequences to myself and to the people around me. That affected my relationships, not only with boyfriends, spouses, etc. It affected my relationship with my own mother. It affected relationship with my friends, and it wasn't until I decided to go to the root of my pain and start healing and understanding that the only way to heal was to forgive, that I started to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I am almost 30 years old, and although I will be lying if I say that I am completely healed and that everything is in the past. I still struggle time to time with some words that will haunt me because, yes, although physical pain it's awful, but bruises eventually disappear. Slaps eventually stop hurting, but the words that someone can say to you will pretty much stay in your mind if you let them for a long time. And not only if you let them, but if you starting to believe the things that they say to you. And when you constantly, repeatedly listen to the same words, and especially when someone tells you you're not worth it, you will believe it. And that brought so many consequences in my life. I guess my point for this video is to let you know that no matter who tells you this, no matter if it's your spouse, which it's probably the person that you love the most, or your dad, like in my case, the person that gave me life, your children, anyone. You are so worth it. You are beautiful. You're amazing. You have so much to bring to the world. I know everything sounds cliche, and you probably like listen to this every day, but this is a person who was completely broken, who was going through major depression, who didn't have a motivation to live anymore. And yes, I am not perfect. I am still working on my healing process. I just hope that by sharing this experience, and maybe this will be the beginning of something beautiful, that we can empower each other, and that we can all help each other to keep growing, to keep healing, and to just know that we're women, we're not weak, we're not cowards because we are staying in toxic, unhealthy relationships. No, we're survivors, and that every day counts, and that we're here for each other. Thank you, and hopefully this will just touch someone's life.